Hello, I'm Sean Manning from the Sustainable Improvement Team at NHS England, and I'm responsible for the Productive General Practice Quick Start programme. Productive General Practice Quick Start is a programme of hands-on support visits to general practices to help them improve some of their day-to-day processes which are causing them a challenge in the practice. So practices have used the programme to look at things like their workplace organisation, some of their capacity and demand issues, or trying to reduce variation in everyday processes such as repeat prescribing. We've worked with hundreds of practices around the country to date, and we've had really positive feedback from the practices. Practices have reported time-saving opportunities for clinicians and for admin teams. They've also reported much better teamwork and improved morale in the practices. We've also had practice managers provide us with feedback that 95% of the sessions in their practices have gone well or very well. The programme consists of 6 half-day sessions where an expert improvement facilitator comes into your practice and provides real hands-on help in helping you as a team make improvements. In addition to those 6 visits to your practice, there's also 2 group sessions where representatives from your practice and other practices come together to share ideas and challenges, and the final one of those group sessions is all about celebrating success and explaining your improvement story. And those 6 visits and 2 group-based learning sessions usually take place over about an 8-week period.
Hi, I'm Max Pardo-Rokes, part of the delivery team for the Productive General Practice Quick Start programme. I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about how we work with you as practices when we're delivering on-site and through the group-based sessions. Firstly, for the group-based sessions, you'll receive high-quality facilitated support as a group in a common location, and ideally we're going to have the same facilitators working with you across those sessions. More key is how we work with you in your practice, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some of the methods that we use when we're on site. So the first thing, and probably a key question that you may have, is are we going to be coming with a bag of solutions under our arm? And the reality is we don't. Our aim is not to work with you and tell you this is how you need to do something in your practice, or this is best practice we've seen somewhere else and you should be implementing it. Instead, we're trying to work with you as a practice to develop and understand how we can help you to generate and develop new ways of working which are genuinely going to be sustainable and last in your practice. Those new ways of working will be owned by you, but we will of course be there in the practice to help facilitate and develop them, and if we're able to, also to do some of the implementation. The way that we do that is we do use something that we call brief, simulate and do. So that's the way that we try and structure our sessions and our modules working with you in the practice. So the brief is a little bit of an understanding about the area we're going to look at and perhaps some of the techniques behind it. Then we simulate, and that's often a simulation around either the change that we're going to make or the technique that underpins it. And then the do is we're actually working with you to start to look at how can we make that change, or can we just do it right away in the practice today. That's really key because that's the way that our support is designed and facilitated to make sure that you as a practice are able to continue the work after we leave, but also that it is genuinely sustainable and appropriate for your practice and your practice's needs.
There are 8 modules in the programme, and practices typically work on 2 of the 8 modules. They choose which ones are most important and most relevant to them, and the facilitator will help make sure that the work is adapted to the precise needs of the practice. The Productive General Practice Quick Start programme is being made available as part of the General Practice Development Programme, and specifically the Time for Care programme within that. It's going to be available to about a quarter of practices around the country, and as well as providing the hands-on help to make improvements there and then in the practice, it's also really designed to help practices develop new approaches and be exposed to new tools so that they can make improvements in their practice long after the facilitator support is gone. And in that way, they support the national 10 high impact actions, specifically number 5, improving productivity, and number 10, developing quality improvement expertise. So experience suggests that this programme is really beneficial to all sorts of practices. We'd only suggest that if you're a very small practice, sometimes you don't quite have enough capacity to engage with the facilitator to make the improvements necessary. So some very small practices and some practices under extreme pressure may find it difficult to engage in the programme. So because we've only got limited support, we can only support about a quarter of the practices in the country, we do check that there's a real level of commitment that practices are able and willing to make people available for all the 6 hands-on sessions in the practice and are able to take action after those sessions. Once you've signed up for the programme, we have 2 sessions in advance where representatives of the practices come together, usually a practice manager and a lead GP, and those sessions are really to help you understand in more depth what each of the modules is about, so that the practice can make an informed choice about which 2 of the modules they really want to work on that are going to be most beneficial for their practice. Those sessions are also an opportunity to put dates in diaries so that you can really nail down when it is you're going to have the practice visits. And the sessions also help the GP and the practice manager think about the practical challenges of implementing change in their general practice and think about the preparation they need to undertake before the hands-on visits start. So once the facilitators have gone, we hope that members of the team in your practice have developed new skills and new confidence and can continue to make improvements in the practice in the months and years to follow. We'd also be encouraging you to work with fellow practices and with your local primary care organisations to see if there's opportunities where you can share the good work you've done in your practice, but also be given an opportunity to use those skills for the benefit of the wider area. So we'd be encouraging the primary care organisations to have a plan to make the most of the development and the confidence that you've built over the 8-week programme. The opportunities to use the skills and the confidence developed in the practice alongside other parts of the Time for Care programme, such as the learning in action workshops that may be taking place locally, or in skills being developed through the General Practice Improvement Leaders programme. So if you're interested in this programme, you can have a look at the set of videos that we've created giving a brief overview of each of the modules so that you can get an understanding of whether they would be helpful in your practice. Information is available on the NHS England website under the Time for Care programme. But you are probably talking to people in your local area, maybe from your CCG or your federation or your locality, about this programme. So if you're interested and want to progress, talk to them. If you haven't got a local contact, then you can contact the central team on the following web address.